Okay, welcome back, everybody. We're getting somewhere, and we started our Football Friday early, is what I feel. But we had a lot of hockey in the front end of the show. This is a very passionate topic for people in Canada. The CFL, XFL proposed merger. Ailish Martins, watching on Facebook, says they're using the art of war tactics. Create the problem. Then once the victims are severely suffering, provide a solution that isn't as good as should be because the victims are desperate. Do you agree with that, Ryan? Yep. He does. Okay. You guys are reading from the same book. From Nelson Vo. He is our content creator here. Just started last week. He says, as someone who's been coaching football in Saskatoon for kids aged 13 to 14 for 6 years, I have heard the CFL mentioned exactly 0 times from these kids, even though most of their families are huge Rider fans. All they care about is the NFL and even college football before the CFL. Where did the rest of it go? They play the CFL rules their entire life, but they could care less about anything but the NFL. From Spencer Mackenzie Burridge, he's the producer of our Regina Pats television broadcast. He says, I agree with Kelly about becoming an NFL farm league. Look at Bedard, for example. Imagine the next NFL superstar starting out in Regina. I think a little bit of what you guys are all saying, I agree with you. I've been saying it for years, but what you don't understand is that people in the CFL are vehemently opposed to that.
They don't want it. That's really the point. My only point, I'm not even suggesting, Rod, that they should. I'm saying that if you could ever figure out a way to have a relationship with the NFL. I'm not saying let's go to 4-down football, smaller field. Let's become like the Diet Coke version of the NFL and let's change everything. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that that's the company, frankly, that you need to get into bed with and get a relationship with. Because they've got an endless supply of money, most of these owners. And them, even if you could get a couple of teams, like let's say they're responsible. I'm making this stuff up, by the way, but let's say the only obligation in whatever the relationship was is they cover 50% of your payroll. Jerry Jones contemplating $5 million, if he feels like he's getting value from whatever that relationship is, would be like you and I contemplating whether we want a side of ranch at lunch for the extra loony that it's going to cost. Okay, these are multi-billionaire owners, but you have to convince them that you're worth having a relationship with because they're going to say, okay, well, what's in it for us? Okay, well, if there's a way that we can help develop your players or we can enter into some kind of a relationship, but that doesn't mean that we open the relationship, but we dictate all the terms, Jerry. Jerry's going to say, so I'm writing you a big check every year and I get nothing out of it, basically, other than paying you. Sorry, not interested. Somewhere along the way, you have to be willing to change something. So the question becomes to CFL fans, and I'm making all this stuff up. I'm just saying. You've
thought of this.
Yeah. But the point is that would you, at some point, you have to ask yourself, would we rather give something up and have football to watch, or we give nothing up and we have no football up here to watch?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I know, Kelly, from two sources, though. Two good CFL sources. I'm not necessarily saying trusted sources, but they've told me the plan is here. We're going to collaborate with the XFL, tap into the Rock, all that he brings, but nothing in the CFL will change. Which is kind of what you're saying. We're not giving up anything.
Correct.
But we're going to benefit from this relationship with the Rock. And I'm like, guys, it doesn't work. It's not going to work that way. I get that they think that it will. I don't see it going down that road. Armando Moreno, he's our Mexican correspondent. He's a Mexico City reporter down there. He says trying to compete with the NFL monster is just not the smart way to go. It's on 3downnation.com right now. Actually, Randy Ambrosi said it on this show that he met with Roger Goodell. And Goodell said, listen, no, you need to be a self-sustaining entity yourself, the Canadian Football League. It sounded like Randy approached the NFL, and they said, we're not interested. So there was that. They tried, and the NFL said no. But there are a lot of people in this country, and I think it's a football thing versus a hockey thing, that they want to fight with the NFL. And I'm like, I'm out. From what I hear, NFL Canada is its own entity. It has nothing to do with Football Canada at all. They're enemies. It's a football thing. Because you look, be honest, you know it. The NHL, AHL, ECHL, WHL, Junior A all work together by and large. Their rules are all the same. Mm-hmm. Players go up and down at will within those leagues.
And I don't know, but see, here's the thing, Rod. I don't know what that model would look like. That would have to come from people a lot smarter than me that are way higher up the food chain in the NFL and the CFL to figure out what that partnership. That's really what we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about the NFL buying the CFL and now we're going to turn it into whatever we want. I'm saying a relationship, a partnership, a merger of some kind where there could be an injection of cash from the NFL to the CFL that would help the CFL.
But it's not happening.
No, it isn't. But that's the only, my point is, Rod, it's the only marriage that can, I don't see The Rock buying the CFL.
Why not?
He's not going to buy the CFL.
Why not?
Why would he?
Because he's got the money and he loves football. Why did he buy the XFL?
Well, so he's going to double dip now and buy both leagues.
He can have them for nothing. Kelly, you're a businessman. Buy low.
Okay, so then let's see who's right when it's all said and done. I don't believe Dwayne Johnson is buying the CFL. You do?
I think it will end up that way.
Okay, I disagree.
Why would they even talk or approach Redbird Capital or The Rock at all?
They're trying to come up with that partners, that magic formula that they can come up with some sort of relationship that's going to save everybody.
Does this come with pixie dust and unicorns?
They better hope so. They better hope so, because I don't think pixie dust is going to fix this problem. I don't know every time they ask the commissioner, okay, well, can you just give us a hint of what might be something that you might be looking at to do? Well, we're not there yet. So how could you or I or anybody else sink our teeth really into this whole thing if they can't even tell us at this point what those conversations have been about?
Well, it's been genius by Randy Ambrosie to drop this bomb. You got to think he's tickled to see all the reaction across the country, but I don't think he did it for nothing. I stir things up for fun. I don't think Randy Ambrosie stirs things up for fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think there's more to this. For sure. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, Rod's right. The Rock won't give us something for nothing, but there is still middle ground without completely giving ourselves to the XFL. And that's fair, but I'll say it again. What's in it for the XFL? The CFL wants to tap into all that The Rock can give them, but they don't want to give anything up. Life doesn't work that way, and you know that. But you know what? The CFL, that's why they're in the bind that they're in, because they are just so allergic to change and innovation. That's what's got them where they are. And they still don't want to change because they're saying they don't want to change. Nothing will change. We're just going to use The Rock, but nothing will change.
Well, they didn't even say that. They didn't even say that.
That's what it's been said to me.
They wouldn't even give an answer on that.
No, they haven't said that publicly, but that's what I've got. Okay?
Yeah, what I took out of the whole thing with Randy was just very simply that both leagues have identified that they have problems and challenges ahead. We're trying to figure out a way that we could come up with some kind of partnership of some kind to try to help, to try to make it work that everybody can benefit. But every time he was asked what that could, just give us.
Didn't want to say.
Give us
something.
He
didn't know.
Nothing. Well,
what's the point of collaborating if you don't merge? What's the point?
Maybe there will be a merger, but I just.
You don't think there will be, though?
Well, I don't think The Rock is going to buy the CFL. That's what I'm saying.
Cool.
But maybe he will. Maybe I'll be wrong, and I'll come on this show and say, remember that time you said The Rock was going to buy the CFL, and I said he won't? Well, you were right, Rod.
Yeah.
That could happen, too.
Rem's, always good to see you.
Take care.
We'll be back with Overtime. It's the RP Show, Game Plus TV Network, live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and 24-hour sports talk for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com. Listen live.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.